All right, special edition interview with the one and the only Christine Lopez in the ring with Christine. How's it going,
Yes.
Christine?
It's going well. It's going well. Took today off. I was at the gym yesterday, 8 a.m., even though we got home at like, I think 1:30 or 2 Sunday. But I took today off because I've got to catch up on some things, but I'll be back at it tomorrow morning.
Okay. Look, I was hoping that the interview would have, or the questions I'm going to ask were more related to, man, what a great performance! You pulled it off. You did
Yeah,
it. But
sure.
life throws curveballs at us. It doesn't always go the way we want. It doesn't
Hmm.
mean it's the end of the road. It just means there's a detour, right? So,
Yes.
so that's where we are right now. Before I ask you about the fight, which is going to be the obvious topic
Hmm.
here, we even get to that, I just want to get to some good things. Like, how were you treated by MVP, Jake Paul, Amanda, obviously Serrano, and how was the experience just overall with that whole promotion?
Overall, the experience with the promotion was top tier, amazing, amazing. They are such professionals, and they treated us absolutely amazing. Amanda is as sweet as she can be. We met Jordan, talked to him for a minute. Amazing. Everybody that works for MVP, they deserve raises. We had our own personal guy that made sure we were everywhere on time, did what we had to do. We had Mercedes Sprinters everywhere, Cadillac SUVs.
Wow.
Everything was top tier. Even when we had things going on at the stadium, there was food. Like there was more food than we could even imagine. They're so amazing. They gave out duffel bags to the athletes to give to whoever, and to keep one for themselves. Even media people got T-shirts. It was amazing. Hats off to Jake Paul. I have nothing negative to say to anybody associated with MVP at all.
So I know you guys were like the whole thing was run by MVP, but did you feel the presence of Netflix at all? Like, were the Netflix
You
people
know what?
around?
Netflix was very silent. They were a silent giant. They were around, but
Mm,
MVP was really the main focus, which I
okay.
like that too. Because we're all familiar with Netflix, but MVP was the boxing promotion, and it was nice the way that they did things. Everything was very professional.
Now this was a historic card. I called it the greatest like women's fight card, all
Yeah.
women's fight card ever, and I believe that. And there's been
Yes.
some good ones before, but I think this one just was at a whole nother level. Um, the do you, however, with all that said, I heard Layla Ali do an interview and she said, this is great, I love it, but hopefully this will get us to where women could just be fighters, not necessarily women fighters, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you want to see more of this, or do you want to see kind of like where women are just on the fight cards with men and vice versa, and no one really notices is okay, that's a woman fight or whatnot, and or do you prefer this to continue? It's all women fight cards.
I totally see what Layla's talking about. I really do, because I feel like most women, they work as hard, if not harder, than some of the men. And
Mhm.
we are so separated in a lot of things. I think there are some perks, obviously, to have an all women's card. Some people said they would have loved to have, all women commentators and all women judges, and possibly even
Hmm.
some of the commission or whatever. But I think this is the beginning. We have to start somewhere, and then I wouldn't
True.
mind it just being okay. We have a boxing card. Everybody's excited because the best are fighting the best,
Right.
male or female. So I do agree with her, but this
For
was
sure.
definitely needed to start that out.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen the numbers, over 6 million viewers. It
Yeah.
was a number one watch in New Zealand, Australia, and like two other countries. It was in the top 10 in all these other countries.
Hmm.
The gate did, millions, big success. And for you being, a woman,
Yes.
that's been involved in boxing, and all the females that I've interviewed, I mean, just the constant, all the times that women been told, you don't draw, no one's going to
Yeah.
come watch you. This
Yes.
is why you don't get the opportunities that men get, et cetera, et
Hmm.
cetera. Um, I mean, to me, not to be crude, but like the success of this event was kind of like a middle finger to all the doubters, pretty much.
It definitely was a middle finger to all the doubters. I absolutely loved it. We've heard time and time again, I've heard in my whole life, women don't sell, nobody wants to see women. We've done shows together where the comments have been the same. I've been told to get in the kitchen, wash dishes, or go cook or wash some clothes. Many, many times I let it roll off my back, but it was a middle finger, and I'm very happy about it.
I mean, it's just one of those things, and for so long, anytime a promoter needed a last minute fight or something,
Hmm.
women would step up, right?
Absolutely.
Anytime an event was stale, nobody really cared about the main event. Like many times, the women would steal the show on undercards and etc. And now it seems like at least with this movement, women are getting the recognition that they deserve.
Absolutely.
And it's all merit based, right? It's merit, and,
Hmm.
and and guess what? 6 million viewers on Netflix is merit.
Absolutely,
Million
it is.
dollars at the gate is merit. Being number one on Netflix on all these countries is merit. Like that's what that is, and that I think, and that's all. That's I believe anyway. That's all that most women have always wanted, pretty much.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to be there. There was not an empty seat in the whole stadium, literally. The vibe was just amazing. I mean, I had goosebumps all over my body. It was absolutely phenomenal. I've never experienced something so amazing, just being amongst all the fans that were so excited to see all of these badass women face each other. It was beautiful. It really was. Can't, yeah.
A couple of fights. The one fight, and she won performance of the night, and I think she deserved
Oh,
it.
yes.
Shadisha Green, like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like she shocked the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I think she had a great performance, and Savannah Marshall is a great fighter, and she beat her, and it
Yeah.
was a great performance at that. Savannah had her moments, but I just don't think it was enough. I understand that she was
Hmm.
upset about the decision, but I do think the right person won.
Me too.
Great performance for Shadisha. I mean, that
It really was. The thing is, I believe that she's just really underrated. Something that was so sad that was happening during all the media buzz and everything is you could look over and nobody was trying to interview Shadeja before the fights. I mean, nobody had any
wow.
interest. They thought that she didn't have a chance. She was the B side. And I was so happy that she won. I was totally rooting for her. I wanted her to win. She won the 250 extra. I mean, thank God. She deserved it. And the thing that I loved too was that at the very end, she talked about the loyalty between she and her coaches, how they waited on her. She did what her mom said. She went to school, then they came back together and look, it was a long time coming. The whole team deserved it.
100%. And one more before we get to what we want to talk about. What I want to ask you is main event: Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
Look, both future Hall of Famers. That's
Yes.
obvious, and both
Yes.
legends of the sport. And I think what these two women have done together is elevate women's boxing
Absolutely.
to great levels, and it's affecting in all levels.
Yeah.
And like I'll give you an example. So Shannon O'Connell is going to be headlining like this. It's not the biggest card in the world, but it's a card in Australia,
Yes.
where she's going to be in the same card with her son, right?
Mhm. Oh, that's so
And she's the
nice.
headliner. Like
Yeah.
the 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 thought of a woman headlining any boxing card like 10 years
Mhm.
ago would be crazy. Like what? The women
Yeah.
headlining, right? So even at that level, it has like a positive effect, right? And then you look
Absolutely.
at everything else from look at Michaela Mayer, headlining an ESPN show, the highest ratings on ESPN, just shattering all the arguments, and nobody wants to see women in the main events, and but it all to me, look, it takes a village to create something, but those
Yeah.
two women in particular, that fight that they had in 2022, their trilogy, um, it's what they accomplished for boxing and women's boxing is was bigger than the fight themselves.
Absolutely,
I
it
think
was.
and so your thoughts on that, and what you think of Katie Tatum's performance?
I mean, those two women are absolutely amazing. They really are. I admired both women before, but I even admire them even more now. It's like we got a chance to speak to Amanda for a little while, and Katie as well, and they are just so gracious and humble. And I loved the fact that Amanda was saying that she didn't want to win the two extra 250. She wanted it to go to somewhere else, someone else, in case she did win. To me that just speaks volumes. And she's really proving that she is there for the women. They did total opposite of what a lot of people thought they were going to do.
Mm,
They actually boxed. We thought it was going to be an all-out brawl like the last two. you
yeah.
know Amanda showed that not only is she a puncher and a brawler, but she can also box. We already knew Katie could. And Amanda really showed us a different side. And I am just such a fan of them both. They're so gracious, so humble, so fan friendly, and I'm in awe even more of them both. Of them both, I really am.
Look, I really like Kate. I saw an interview from Katie where she said, "Look, I'm gonna make things easier on myself, and I'm gonna fight a disciplined fight this time," and
Yeah.
that's what she did.
Yes,
And
she did.
I thought Katie boxed a beautiful fight,
She did. She really did. She really did.
and for any and all the talk about she's done, she's
Yeah.
older now, she should retire, and
Mm-mm.
all the she don't got it no more. Well, I think she showed you got it. That's,
Definitely. Definitely. And then we saw, and I'll just throw this in there, Alicia Baumgartner called her out. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's the good thing to do. I mean, put yourself out there, get that money. But Katie is a whole different beast.
yeah. Another thing, just side note, Ramla Ali won a controversial decision.
Hmm.
I didn't like Ariel Helwani telling her, I don't think you won the fight. I think that was,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those things.
Yeah.
It's just like when
Talk
Teddy told
after.
Jeff Horn, I
Sure.
don't think you beat Pacquiao. Like, I just think
Yeah.
the fighters aren't the judge. If you don't agree with the
Talk to the
decision, it's,
judges.
yeah, talk to judges.
I
That's the
agree.
way I see
I
it.
agree with that for sure.
She's on a high, and you're putting her on the spot in front of everybody, basically telling
Yeah.
her she won a robbery, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah. Taking her shine away. I don't like that either.
yeah. But so look, um, I watched the Metcalf Neeks fight, and it seemed to me, Christine, in watching it, and I'm just on the outside looking in, right? I'm just a spectator. I'm watching the fight, and it just like felt like this, like nothing was going right for Metcalf.
Hmm.
Like it just
Hmm.
felt like everything was just snowballing out of control, and it was just getting worse and worse. And it just felt like nothing was going her way the whole fight, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it happens in boxing, but um, I do got to say I'm very surprised. Not that Neeks won. I mean, obviously, I knew each girl was capable of beating the other, but
Sure.
people even were saying on paper this is a close fight and a competitive fight, and
Hmm.
Neeks looked great.
She
I
did.
think surprised a lot of people and maybe
Hmm.
not others, whatever. But um, my question to you, being Metcalf's, coach, what went wrong?
You know, there, people don't really see the things, that go on, during camp and before camp and things like that. And there were some things that were off, that
Mm,
obviously you don't talk about. You just, and there's no excuses to be made. I don't like people that make excuses for losses, and because then it takes away from the winner, the champion, the undisputed, Sugar Neeks, and she fought the perfect fight for Chicken. And I told her that, and she knew she had to make it dirty and come forward and stay on her chest, and she did exactly that. um, but there are things that go on, you know and One day I want to write a book.
Right.
Can I say that I'm totally happy with the camp and some of the things that have gone on? No, I mean, about 5 years ago, we Chicken came over and she had a very upside down record, and by God's grace and by her discipline and by her listening, my husband and I were able to turn that around, and she won a world title. Um, Things start to change sometimes. I think that not necessarily in this specific situation, but I've seen it so many times with where when you are a champion, that people really come and talk into your ear and tell you things. And my motto is, if it's not broke, don't fix
Mm.
it. And that's pretty much what I have to say about that.
Let's expand on that a little bit. So, again, just from the outside looking in,
Hmm.
there seemed to have been, let's say, well, let me just flat out. Was there an issue with chemistry in this training camp with you and Chicken?
I think that I'm very big on chemistry. I will work with someone or not work with someone in regards to chemistry. There has to be cohesion, and the cohesion has to be throughout the whole team and the whole camp. And when something is off, things are off. Um, we've come a long way with Chicken. So even if there were some issues, there was no way that we were going to walk away. Um, it's not like she just came to us and we saw that there wasn't going to be cohesion and there were some issues. So we weren't going to do that because we're very loyal, and we expect the same. 110% we give, we expect 110%. Sometimes people take things like that for granted. Um, and the situation was we didn't get the win. There were some things that I wasn't fond of, but it's all learning and growing for me as a coach, um, to be sure and make the boundaries very clear and to make sure that I'm not working harder than the people around me, that everything's equal. So, yeah, no excuses. We lost. And we'll see what she does from here on out.
So it sounds to me like there wasn't great chemistry because if there was, you would have said, "Of course there was." It would have been like that's the sense I'm getting. But
Yeah, yeah.
I understand that obviously a lot of things can't need to stay in house. You can't
Yes.
put it
Yeah.
out there. I get that, but
Yeah.
um, being the person on the outside looking in,
Yeah.
one thing that I wasn't fond of personally
Mhm.
was Metcalf had a cap and it said undisputed on it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and it's just my opinion, but I just felt it was a little premature to be celebrating before you actually get it done.
Right.
You have someone who's just as confident as you are, has
Mhm.
a camp, is training to win and coming after you, is trying to accomplish the same thing. You
Mhm.
don't want to just assume it's just going to be handed to you somehow. Not saying that's what she was thinking, but I
Right.
mean,
Right.
when you wear a cap like that, um, it's it's
Sure. Sure.
you're counting your the eggs before the hatch basically.
You know, and
Um,
and I see what you're saying. I am I'm all about being confident. I'm confident when I know that I've done everything that I had to do. I'm going to be confident in the things that I've worked on, and what I've worked on with my fighters. I'm very confident. You know me. We've known each other for years. I will never think of myself as a cocky person because
mm.
I'm a firm believer in what God giveth, He will take it away. So I really try to stay humble, and I am humble because I know that every day is because of God, and I'm able to do what I do because I work my ass off. I'm balls to the wall, excuse me, for my fighters. Um, so was it premature? It's so funny in retrospect. Yeah, it probably was premature. And you're saying that you're over there, an outsider looking in, and you notice some things were off. It's so funny. You wouldn't believe the phone calls and the text messages that I have received from like people like you in the media, fans, family, and world champions that have said there was something off. Um, there was something off from the time that y'all won in the clubs, non-titles or little titles, from the time you won the title to even defending and then coming, to Vegas for undisputed. It's so funny you think that you can hold things together and try to smooth things over, but in reality, you can't.
Is there a I guess is there any reason for any of us to speculate um that there was I don't know, like what was it? Let me put it this way. Was the fact that you're on Netflix and on MVP and you're on this undisputed fight with the bright lights and everything that comes with it, right? The success that comes with this feeling, that presence
Mm-hmm.
of success, that is.
Sure.
Like, is there like a like why would there be a disconnection there, right? When there but there wasn't a disconnection when you're fighting in an empty baseball field, or you're fighting in some small ballroom or a small club or in the theater, in the garden theater on Pro Box. Why wasn't there a disconnection then? But not, I don't want to assume things, but it just
Sure.
seems to me like the energy I'm sensing is there was a disconnection here, with chemistry and with this training camp.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that people don't react differently to like the bright lights and all the pressure. I mean, the pressure of all the people that are watching such a big event, possibly winning the 250 and then having to put yourself out there to like, okay, I've got to win this undisputed. I've got my family and I've got, plans. So I will never say that that's not part of it. But I believe that disconnect and cohesion, it starts far before that. You know,
Hmm.
um, when you're in a training camp and pre-training camp, things need to be in place. And there was a lot going on. Um, there was a lot going on. So yes, the end result is showtime. There's it shows up obviously because like I said, you're not the only one that's called me on this. It's so funny. You think you can hold it all together. Like I thought I was an actress, but obviously I'm not. But people do see it. People do see it. And I think the lesson in all of this is that the lesson is that when you have, how can I say this nicely? I'm just going to say, if it's not broke, don't fix it because things like this happen. That's what I'm going to say. And I think Shadisha Green is a great example of what sticking it out and being loyal and listening to your coaches and respecting them and they respecting you and listening to you will do for you. And that's just really what
So
the lesson
th-
is.
there's kind of connected to what you're saying. There's an old saying in sports is like do what got you to the dance, right?
Do what got you to the
Like you,
dance.
you don't make it to the Super
Absolutely.
Bowl and then switch it all up and do some other things, right?
Right.
Like
Exactly.
you do what got you there,
That's
right?
perfect.
And if you don't succeed, whatever. But you're
That's
gonna like
perfect.
so was everything done, you know, in this dance that was like what I mean? Like is there was it different this time?
From my perspective, yeah, it was different. It was different.
Okay.
It was different, definitely. Yeah. And it showed. It was different.
Okay. Is there? Have you had a conversation with Metcalf about the performance?
I have not. I have not. I'm about, even when one of my fighters gets out of the ring, I leave him alone. A lot of coaches like to go over there. Oh
Mm,
my God, you should have done this. You should have done that. Why didn't you do it? I don't, because I know
okay.
me. Um, you know, People are different. I'm very emotional. I'm very emotional. I show my feelings on my face, and I wear it on my chest. And it's like, I know I need time to think and process and make choices, make decisions. So
Mm,
before the conversation is had, it needs to be had face to face, and it will be had if both parties are willing, and I am, and then there will be a conversation. But for now,
okay.
everybody's still processing what happened.
Okay. So that there's a lot to unpack, but
Yes.
at the same time, I get it. We don't want to say too much, but
Hmm.
um, what are you? Let's say, like, if not that I want to get in your head, but while you're kind of watching the fight,
Hmm.
um, and it's obviously not going your way,
Right.
and what are you thinking? Like round after round, is it like what's the evolution of your thought process? Was there a hope that there could be some type of comeback at any point? Was
Yeah.
it, like what's running through your head when all this is going on?
So, I mean, what was running through my head was, okay, so we're obviously losing this fight. So I really tried to motivate and say, you know what, you got to do this for you. Leave everything in the ring. Do this for your family. Do this for your kids. Just go out there and do what you got to do,
Mhm.
because everything that was taught in camp or whatever. We've already done what
Right.
we need to do. All that we can do. There's nothing more that we can do but get through each round. Um, she wasn't hurt. And I'm not going to blame the ref because she wasn't winning. But whenever you're a world champion, you should, I would say that you should give that world champion the opportunity to finish the fight if they are not hurt. Okay. Um, the ref, I know, allegedly, I've been called by many professionals in the boxing world that he's already been suspended previously from things like this, not letting someone finish a fight, and
Mm.
something else. Allegedly, these are my people that call me and talk to me. Both
Right.
doctors said that she was okay. She was okay. She said she was okay. If she wasn't okay, I know her well enough to know, and I could have seen too. And I'm not going to let somebody get in there and die in the ring, God willing, not on purpose. So she should have, I think, at least been able to finish the fight, but she wasn't, and here we are, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I do want to ask you about that. So I just found it bizarre that you would allow like if the ref was supposedly so concerned, why do you allow the round to end?
Hmm.
And then at the start, have the doctor come over, and it's almost like the doctor didn't give him what he wanted to hear. So then he
Exactly.
just decided to say, "Well, I don't like the way she's responding to the punches," and just
Right.
stopped it. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's what surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, like you, I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna make an uproar about it either.
Yeah. No.
It's is what it is. But
Yes.
look, if the fight was up in the air and like she still had a shot to win, and yeah, I would be kind of outraged about it, to be honest.
Sure.
But she just wasn't in that fight, if we're honest. But
Yeah.
I do think she was mounting a little bit of a comeback. It just seemed a
Yeah.
little too little
Yeah.
too late.
She was. She was, and like I said, it was too late, but let her finish with dignity. Let her finish the fight. It didn't happen. So what can we do?
Mm,
I don't even know what could be going through her head right now. Hopefully, we did check on her. My husband and I, after she got checked out and did her drug testing, we went back to the locker room with her and sat with her for a minute until she was ready to go out and watch the rest of the fights. Um, and obviously, she was upset. Obviously,
yeah.
we all were. But that's part of life, and that's part of this life. You know, what can we say? What can we do?
Now, kind of based on a lot of what he talked about.
Hmm.
Is there a guarantee that you will be in her corner in her next fight?
There's no guarantee for anything. There's no guarantee for anything. I've learned a lot this camp. I'm a very vocal person. I don't do things that I don't want to do. I found myself personally compromising who I am and what I've worked so hard to do and be as a woman in this sport. And I will not compromise myself again. So, with that being said, we will see what the future holds. But I will not compromise me.
So is it safe to say that however things went down for this training camp,
Hmm.
like it ain't gonna roll like that again, is what
It
you're
ain't
saying.
gonna roll like that no more, darling. It ain't gonna roll like that no more. I have been training boxers for 25 years. All of my boxers do exactly what I ask them to do when I ask them to do it with much respect, along with my husband and my son, who is turning out to be a brilliant boxer. We are the team. We are the team. We also have Sebastian and Hector and some other trainers at our gym, Robert. But we are the team, period.
All right. Well, look, I'm sure that you and Metcalf will have a conversation, and then
Yes,
and what we see after that, so we're kind of know, right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
But I do want to say this: that despite anything, despite the result not being what you would have hoped for,
Hmm.
right? Um, Despite all that, you still made it there. Um, like
Listen, listen, bro. Nobody can take away the
right,
fact that on the grassroots level, I have been head coach of many national teams, that I've gone to two Olympics, and I'm not a boaster, that I have led someone to be a world champion and to defend, and we fought for undisputed. Nobody can take that away. They can
100%.
criticize me, they can say what they want to say, but nobody can take that away.
Did the inactivity? I know you see the first thing you said. We're not going to make excuses, but was the inactivity an issue?
I think that it can be an issue for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people weren't very impressed with Alicia Baumgartner's performance, and they did
Mm.
blame it on the inactivity. So I think for some, it does affect you, and for others, it doesn't. We're about to see Crawford beat Canelo, and he's been inactive. So.
What are we done?
So, you know what? I think for some it does, and for some it doesn't. So, I don't know. I'm not even gonna say yes or no, because it shouldn't matter. If you're in the gym and you put in 110%, it really shouldn't matter. And we know Crawford lives in the gym.
Yeah, Canelo lives in the gym too. I mean, we're going to see about that one, but
You can wear
um,
your Canelo hat. I'm gonna wear my Bud hat. Latinos for Bud.
right, right. Um, Look, it is. I always say this: it is what it is,
Yes, it is what
and
it is.
I was it's losses are not easy to take, especially when you
No,
know people.
no, no. I know.
And so it just, but I have also been watching boxing long enough to know this is just part of the game as well, right?
Yes,
And you
absolutely.
brought up Shadisha Green,
Yes,
and I thought about it's not the end of the road; it's a detour.
absolutely.
Shadisha Green herself had a devastating loss when
Yes.
she was a favorite
Yeah.
against Diva and didn't go her
Yes.
way to the point where nobody even gave her a shot against Savannah Marshall, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Because people assumed, well, Savannah beat Diva and Diva beat
Right.
her, so why would she win that fight? And guess what? Like, look at what she did, right?
Exactly.
But Green had um, she stayed the course and stayed with the people that got her through the dance, right?
Yes.
And I just hope that let me put it this way: when talking about the dance, next prom night, go with the person that got you to the dance. You know what I mean? That's all I got to say. But hopefully it all works out. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
you
want
know
the
what?
best for
Things always
everybody.
work out, darling. Things always work out. I mean, I can only speak for myself. Until the good Lord takes me, I'm here to stay. And the gym is thriving. We have some champs coming up. You know, we, I have nothing but love for Chicken. She's considered family. Love her, but definitely have to separate. That from the professional side. And
Hmm.
sometimes we kind of lose our way. Boxer coaches will always say, "Don't fall in love with them. Don't love them so much that you forget who you are and you lose your way." And I slipped and fell, but I'm back up, and I'm not done.
I just want to straight up ask you this:
Okay.
Is you have a lot of strengths as a trainer? Obviously, you mentioned a lot of
Absolutely.
them,
Absolutely.
but not everybody's perfect, right?
No, no, no,
So,
no.
is having too much trust a weakness of yours?
You know what? It can be. It can be because, like I said, when someone gives their word or when someone says something to me, I take it because I'm the same way. If I say something, I'm going to do it. I will travel wherever and do whatever and pay whatever and do what I need to do. Many can vouch for that. I have a heart of gold, and I meet my boxers at any
Mm.
time of the day or night that they need me. I'm 110% in, not 100, 110. And I do expect the same thing. So it may be a weakness, but you know what? I'm 55, and you can teach an old dog new tricks. And I've definitely learned some hard lessons
Mm.
throughout this situation.
A detour, not the end of the road, right?
Absolutely.
Um, One more question, and I'll let you go. Speaking of fighters you're working with,
Yes.
so young Alexa is out there in Texas.
Yes.
Looking at your social media, I saw that she was over there with you and all that. So,
Yes.
how is training her coming along right now? And I even saw that she got to spar.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was sparring with Tara Brown.
Tierra. Absolutely.
And how was
Absolutely.
that?
It's amazing. It's amazing. She is so eager and grateful to be here. This is her third time in here. I mean, she's been trying to find her way back. She wanted to be old enough where she could be here, you know, um, pretty much, all the time. And she's doing exactly what she needs to do, and she's meeting great people and mentors. Tierra Brown is a class act, as we all know, and she gave
Yeah.
her 4 rounds and helped her through. And it's so funny because you'll tell a fighter something sometimes, and they're like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they spar someone like, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, than Tierra Brown. And
Yeah.
she's telling her the same thing that I've been telling her for a while. So it's kind of a eureka moment and
Mm.
confirmation. And
Yeah.
yeah, she's gonna do and is doing great things. And shout out to Tierra, man. She's awesome. Shout out to Tierra.
She is. Shout out to Tara Brown, 100%.
Yes.
So, well, that's it. Any final words, Christine, before I let you go?
No, I appreciate you, brother. You always come through, and I appreciate you so much. It's like you're very observant and you have a keen eye and boxing brain, and that's why I love having these conversations with you. So I appreciate you. You always ask the right questions. Thank you.
Well, speaking of my keen eye and boxing brain, Canelo's gonna win that fight. Okay, I'm just gonna
Except
put
for
that out
that.
there.
It's
You know what I mean?
okay.
But
Hey, we can be wrong sometimes. You know what
that's all right.
I'm saying?
But we'll have that conversation closer to the fight for sure.
Definitely.
Well, I'll
Thank
break
you
it
so
down for
much.
you with my keen brain and boxing
Yeah,
eye. You know what I mean?
okay. All right. Okay.
So we're out, guys. Peace.
Peace.